Happy Friday, May 17th, everyone. Welcome back to North Central Weather Center. In today's weather forecast, we have heat building across the viewing area as we go through this weekend. We're going to be timing out when you could see storms as well, and a substantial severe weather outbreak looming for Monday and Tuesday of early next week. We'll be diving into everything that you need to know in today's weather forecast. So if you are new here to North Central Weather Center, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below so you get daily weather forecasts right here on this channel. We do videos on Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and the weekends if needed. Also be sure to press the like button, the thumbs up button down below. It helps out more than you know to get all of this information passed along to more and more people. So without further ado, let's get into today's weather forecast for your Friday, May 17th. And you can see this morning we did start off pretty mild across the eastern part of our viewing area, but most of us here in the north central U.S. actually did see mild conditions to start the day, and we're really heating up quick across the plains in the upper Midwest this afternoon. We're hitting into the 90s into portions of southeastern South Dakota, central Nebraska, down into northwestern Kansas this afternoon, and a lot more 80s to go around across portions of the northern plains, the upper Midwest, even over here into the western Great Lakes region this afternoon. So definitely more of a summertime feel to the day. Those heat index values into the 80s and 90s today as well will be actually fueling some stronger thunderstorms up across the Dakotas here into western Minnesota, where we have a marginal to slight risk of severe weather for the Grand Forks region, Aberdeen, down there toward Rapid City, and Bismarck. Going into this afternoon, wind up to 60 miles per hour, hail up to quarter size will be the main threat here. I think the tornado threat is incredibly low with this setup today because a lot of these storms will be linear with a line of storms, mainly with damaging winds and hail. So timing, this afternoon we got isolated storms developing across western North Dakota. Going into this evening, storms will grow upscale into a line, like we mentioned, that could produce damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and some quarter-size hail. The tornado threat with a line of storms like this is pretty low, so we're not really looking at a tornado threat. Going into early Saturday morning, this is after midnight, storms will keep rumbling through, especially North Dakota and northern Minnesota, bringing the threat for some heavier rainfall, but also some marginally strong to severe storms. We'll keep a close eye on that as we go into the early morning hours of Saturday. Other than that, our rainfall amounts up here will be around a quarter to half an inch at most across especially North Dakota into northern Minnesota. So flooding is not a big deal up here. It has been pretty dry up in that region over the past several weeks, so we're not looking at really any flash flooding concerns. Going into this weekend on Saturday, May 18th and Sunday, May 19th, notice a ridge of high pressure builds in across the south central U.S. and up into parts of our southern and central viewing area. That means temperatures will be quite warm this weekend. So starting off Saturday morning, temperatures well into the 60s, even the mid 60s up here into the Twin Cities region, into Omaha, into Des Moines as we go into Saturday morning. Those 60s will turn to 80s during the afternoon as we go into Saturday from the western Great Lakes all the way back through the Midwest and the Central Plains. Even parts of southern Kansas getting into the lower 90s as we go into Saturday afternoon. Another mild start to the day on Sunday across especially the Midwest, the Central Plains, and the Ohio Valley into the low and mid 60s again. Those 60s will turn back into 80s once again, and even some 90s out here in southwestern and southern Kansas Sunday afternoon. So let's look at precipitation through the weekend. So Saturday looks pretty dry. We have a few showers possible across the upper Midwest, but mostly dry. That continues into Saturday night, really not seeing any real organized shower or storm activity. We do see the potential for a couple strong storms if they fire up here into northern Wisconsin and the western upper peninsula of Michigan up near the Marquette region and Rhinelander, Wisconsin. We could be seeing some 60 mile per hour winds and quarter-size hail with that. The tornado threat on Saturday is very low. Going into Sunday, a more organized threat for storms across Nebraska into western Iowa and even northern Kansas we'll have to watch here. That could develop into a complex of storms going into Sunday night as the low-level jet starts to crank up and organize these storms a little bit better, and we have more organized low-pressure systems moving in as well. So this is a little bit more of an organized threat for severe weather on Sunday, May 19th to end the weekend. A level 2 out of 5, a slight risk here into Nebraska and Kansas, Omaha to the Hastings, Lincoln area, all the way down towards Wichita and even the Salina, Kansas region. We'll be keeping a close eye on that. Rainfall totals over this weekend, Saturday, May 18th through Sunday, May 19th, you can see rainfall generally between a half an inch and an inch and a half across Wisconsin through southern Minnesota through Iowa, especially the western side of the Hawkeye State, into southeastern South Dakota and east central Nebraska here. And again, pretty dry up in that region. We're not really expecting a lot of flash flooding with that. Going into next week, Monday, May 20th through Friday, May 24th, we are going to be seeing a pattern change here just a little bit. We have the heat still building across the south and the east, but cooler air moving in across the north and the northwest. And that battleground in between the two air masses, between the colder air to the west and the warmer air to the east, will make for a very active weather pattern and a volatile weather pattern at times, especially early next week. You could see well above average precipitation anomalies here, especially across the Badger State there of Wisconsin. So let's look here at Monday to start the work week. We have the ridge of high pressure in place. That's what these oranges are. We have the low pressure trough coming in off the west coast and into the Intermountain West, just west of our viewing area, starting to move closer Monday night. Now, as that moves closer, the Gulf of Mexico will be open for moisture, so dew points surging well into the 60s to near 70 degrees all the way up into the upper Midwest Monday afternoon and Monday evening. Very high amounts of energy here. This is your CAPE, your convective available potential energy, over 2,000, even over 3,000 joules per kilogram. That's moderate to strong instability or energy levels for thunderstorms. Think of it as thunderstorm fuel. So as we go into Monday, Omaha, Hastings, and Lincoln, back here into Topeka, Kansas City, up into Wichita here, and even Dodge City, Salina, Kansas, these areas again, similarly to what we have on Sunday, have another slight risk as we start the work week on Monday. All severe hazards are in play. And I did want to show you this as well. The Colorado State Machine Learning severe weather probabilities actually have that area, especially Nebraska and far northern Kansas, upgraded to an enhanced risk. We'll have to wait and see if the Storm Prediction Center upgrades that area to an enhanced risk as well as we get closer. But just something to keep in mind that the threat for severe weather on Monday is actually going to be increasing. So Monday morning, scattered storms developing here, mainly hail producers if they become severe. As we go into Monday afternoon, still scattered coverage, but these storms will become a little bit stronger. And then as we go into Monday evening, I think that's when we peak our severe weather threat on Monday, with the threat for damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. Quarter-size hail or larger, and a few tornadoes are definitely not to be ruled out as we go through Monday evening. That will carry into early Tuesday morning, but I think the overall theme here will be training thunderstorms over the same area here that could lead to a marginal flash flooding risk across Nebraska, Iowa, and southern Minnesota as we go into early Tuesday morning. Going into Tuesday now, this is still early next week. The trough that's out west in the Intermountain West is actually going to move closer into the Midwest and then eject toward the Great Lakes Tuesday night. And as that does so, it's going to send a pretty strong cold front across our eastern and central viewing area ahead of the cold front. Dew points are into the 60s here, and a lot of energy poking up into the Midwest and the western Great Lakes region for the middle of May. And we're looking at the kinematics as well, the wind field, if you will. So the mid-level jet stream, just several thousand feet up, are actually screaming in out of the south and west over around 80 knots here. And then we have a very strong, robust low-level jet helping that low-level shear for rotating thunderstorms and to help organize them. So we see that over 50 knots across much of the western Great Lakes into the Midwest. With that all in place, the Storm Prediction Center 5 days out is already confident enough to put a large enhanced risk, level 2 out of 5 on the risk scale, from Green Bay down to Grand Rapids, La Crosse, Milwaukee, Chicago, all the way down here into Springfield and St. Louis, back west toward Des Moines, Kansas City, Topeka, Wichita, Springfield, Missouri, all the way back outside of our viewing area, even into northeastern Oklahoma. So a large outbreak of severe weather is possible, and an upper echelon type of severe weather event will be possible. I do expect maybe an enhanced, maybe even a moderate risk upgrade to severe weather. That would be a level 3 or 4 out of 5 as we do get closer. And you can see why I have confidence in an upgrade is because the Colorado State University machine learning severe weather probabilities are already painting a moderate risk across southern Wisconsin, eastern Iowa, northeast Missouri, into much of north central and western Illinois, even a high risk even in this environment. Now, while I think a high risk is possible, the ceiling is as high as you make it for any severe weather event, I think a high risk is a little far-fetched right now. I think an enhanced enhanced to maybe a moderate risk is probably the type of severe weather event we're seeing potentially on Tuesday. So going into Tuesday morning, scattered storms. This is ongoing convection from thunderstorms on Monday morning, Monday afternoon, carrying over into Tuesday morning. This will be a big player in how Tuesday works out. If these storms linger around and kind of squelch the atmosphere of energy, if you will, into Tuesday afternoon, then the severe weather threat will diminish. Now, if those storms weaken in time, we see the atmosphere recover. Big time storms from Wisconsin down through Iowa, northwest Illinois, into portions of Missouri and eastern Kansas will be possible. And this will be all modes of severe weather. We're talking very large hail, possibly 2 inches in diameter or larger, with the strong instability that we're looking at on Tuesday. 60, 70, maybe even 80 mile per hour wind gusts here with the parameters that we see, and a few tornadoes. And I wouldn't rule out even a stronger tornado with the environment that we see here, even going into Tuesday evening. So we're going to keep a close eye on that. And looking at that, we go into Wednesday. You can see the rainfall cold front moves across the east into the Ohio Valley. That'll get rid of our heat a little bit across the Midwest, but also get rid of our storm chances for a time. But the storms come right back as we go into Thursday and Friday as a new storm system moves through. This storm system later in the week is a little bit too far out to determine the heavy rainfall aspect of it, and also especially the severe weather threat, but we'll keep a close eye on that. Next week in general, the 5-day period between Monday, May 20th and Friday, May 24th, some pretty heavy rainfall expected for the upper Midwest and much of our viewing area here in general. So we're definitely seeing at least several inches of accumulating rain, and that will actually lead to a lot of improved drought. We have improved drought on the newest drought monitor that was released yesterday on Thursday, May 16th, down to a minor drought now in southwest Wisconsin. Still a moderate to severe drought in northeast Iowa, but I imagine with a couple inches of rain on the way, that will improve to a minor to moderate drought in the coming week or two, so we'll keep a close eye on that. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button down below for North Central Weather Center if you want daily weather forecast videos like this every single day on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and this weekend. We'll keep you updated on that as well. Make sure to press the like button down below. My name is Hunter here with North Central Weather Center, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Friday out there.